Hello, this is your professor, Dr. Eric Mortensen. I just wanted to check in real quick with you here. I just finished reading everybody's papers and I had a few comments. Before I start, let me say that some of you, had some problems in terms of turning things in on time, and some of you contacted me, which I think was fine. This is not a problem, but just be aware. Try to kind of stay up with the work because I developed the course in such a way that things build on each other. So. Yeah, if you're not kind of doing the earlier stuff, or if you're behind the earlier stuff, that's preparing you for the next thing, and so it's best to kind of try to stay up if you can, as best as you can. Okay, so in my comments, first of all, remember that I'm making comments on the right panel, general comments about your paper, but I also have in-text comments as well, and you should see some kind of bubble or highlighted part. I'm not sure how it appears on your screen, but if you click on it, it'll open up and you'll get further comments. So be aware there's comments in the text as well as general overall comments, so don't forget to look at all of them. Okay, a few points, and again, not everybody had all of these problems. I'm just going to sort of lay out common problems, so your paper might be fine. It might have one problem that I mentioned, but not the other. So this is just kind of general things to think about, and also things to think about moving forward for future papers or other classes even. First of all, try to title your paper. It's the first chance you get to kind of influence the reader and give them a sense of where you're going. Remember, a title should be kind of catchy, interesting, a hook, but it should also kind of give the reader a sense of what you're going to talk about, right? So use that opportunity, and so paper number one isn't a great title, right? For obvious reasons, it's not really like exciting people, and it's not really telling them what's coming. Okay. One problem I noticed in some papers was that a lot of students didn't really want to get into details or give me a detailed example with their narrative, and I think that's kind of a drawback. It's fine to talk about generalities, but the reader, think about your own reading experience. You want to see details. You want to see examples. So it's one thing to say, well, when I'm here, I talk this way. When I'm there, I talk that way. Okay, give us an example. Use a little dialogue. Remember, it's a narrative, right? It's a personal narrative. So use some dialogue maybe. Give the reader a sense of what you're talking about. It makes these abstract points more specific, and it also gives you material to work with. Because another thing I noticed is that not everybody really spent time analyzing what's going on. So you talk about a code switching event. Hopefully you give an example. You give some concrete details. Okay, and then your job as the writer is to kind of come back and discuss what that means. Well, what's the importance of this? What did you learn? Why are you telling the reader this? The reader wants to know, right? So it's not just, hey, here's an example of me speaking one language here and another language there. Great. Okay, so what does that teach you, right? So that analysis is important. It kind of makes a paper, and it's where you can kind of come in and sort of give your 2 cents, right? Tell the reader what you're thinking and what this means and the importance of it. Okay, and finally, for the next paper that you're working on, remember, this isn't just a revision of my comments, it's that. But also, you're supposed to adjust for academic tone. So, especially if you wrote a paper that was very personal and kind of used contractions and this and that, remember that for the revision, you want to kind of practice writing in a more academic tone. And I have materials in the course materials section that'll help you do that. Okay? Hope this helps. I'm looking, everyone's paper was great. Thanks for sharing a lot of interesting stories. Looking forward to the next paper this week. And yeah, if you have more questions, remember you can always email me. All right. Good luck, and talk to you soon.